Ball State. The Cardinals, in year two under their regime, what is your first thought when you look at Ball State's schedule, and really just your takeaways in general?
So Ball State, I'm actually like really surprised with how much this program has struggled because it seems like when I was a kid, it seemed like the era with Nate Davis, who's still slinging the ball in the indoor football league for the San Diego Strike Force. I mean, it's amazing. If you all you Mac fans out there, just check out the Strike Force when they play on Yahoo Sports Network for free. Nate Davis is still doing it. He still looks sharp. But it seems like that golden era was longer than it actually was. I mean, I'm just surprised that Ball State hasn't reached many bowls since I think it was like 20. I want to say after Keith Wenning left was 2013. I think they've only been to 2 bowl games. I think it's just been 2 bowl games since then. And I think that's just a lead in to say that Ball State's schedule is very favorable compared to, say, Akron, because you look at conference play as it is. Sacramento State, I'm not going to say that they're going to be bad, but they're an unknown entity, and then no one thinks they're going to come and take the league by storm. No one thinks they're going to beat Ohio or Western Michigan, and the MAC is already a league with great parity. So they get Sacramento State, they get UMass, they get Buffalo, which is a swing game. They get Kent State, which Kent State's improving, but not quite there yet under Mark Carney. That's a long build. That's a slow build. We all know that. So that's 4 very winnable games right there, along with Liberty on the road, a team that is in a rebuild, honestly. I don't know if Coach Chadwell is, I don't know if Coach Chadwell is actually he's stepping aside this year, if I'm not mistaken, due to a health issue. So that's another winnable non-conference game. So we're looking at 6 very winnable games with their FCS game. So I think Ball State can, I guess, just make this is just an optimal year. If Akron had Ball State's schedule, I think Akron would make a bowl, but Ball State has an opportunity here just to kind of, just redirect some of the gloom that's accompanied that program over the past few years.
Yeah, Ball State is a very interesting program. Like, it just seems like they catch lightning in a bottle every once in a while and have an excellent year, and then otherwise kind of tend to struggle a little bit. Like 2020 was another year where they caught lightning in the bottle. I think they lost their first game that year in that weird partial season, and then immediately won the rest of their games and finished in the top 25. So you could tell this program can have those moments. Definitely, this is one of the more, in this era of NIL, like this is one of the programs with more of financial limitations than maybe you'll see for other MAC programs, just because Ball State is kind of by nature more of like a teacher school. So there's less disposable income to play for athletes and to pay for athletes and everything. So that kind of makes it a little bit more of a challenge for them.
Oh, I was just interested. I didn't know that, honestly. That was great to know that. I didn't know Ball State was mainly a teacher school. You just blew my mind because it just shows how much like goes into the NIL age. Like that honestly just made my day, just like finding that out. Honestly, like I was like really astonished because I had no idea about that teacher's point.
Yeah. I'm gonna make sure I drop this throughout because obviously being a Maction guy, like I know exactly like what all these schools are like. So yeah, I'll have a few more fascinating tidbits as we go along here. But yeah, looking at the schedule, Ohio State's gonna be a tough one to open the season. But you get past that one, and really it doesn't get too bad. Like, yeah, it's kind of rough having 3 road games in your non-conference schedule. The Stony Brook Seawolves are a fantastic name, but they may not be as much of a pushover as you want them to be. So that one, just got to make sure to keep an eye on that. I did do the research here a moment ago on Jamie Chadwell. Whatever was going on apparently is okay. He returned to coaching last week. Thankful to hear that for him. But I remember like seeing a tidbit about that, and it was up in the air for a moment. But yeah, still, like you said, though, Liberty is kind of rebuilding after a really disappointing season last year. Northwestern is not super intimidating. They're going to be the second team to play in Northwestern's new stadium. That'll be fun. And overall, like you've got a pretty decent, like you have at least 3 home games, and of course, the last home game on Saturday is going to be everyone's favorite, the Ball Sack Bowl. Ball State's announcement said that they're going to make it some sort of fun rivalry. How you're going to put that together while also making it appropriate, we'll have to wait and see what goes on there. But yeah, that was definitely a very interesting tidbit. Of course, I think I like that Ball State avoids playing Western Michigan. That one's definitely a big one to avoid. Even avoiding Eastern Michigan could potentially be favorable of how much they have back. So yeah, there's a lot to like here, and definitely that window exists for Ball State to continue to move forward. Of course, October 3rd, gotta watch that one because Ball State, Muncie, Indiana has been a nightmare spot for Toledo for a while. Overall, this is a team that had huge. They were massively different at home compared to on the road last year. They were very good at home, struggled on the road.